Everybody, we'll be changing the rear shocks, struts, whichever you call it. Struts normally have a coil on them. This on a late 2013 Chrysler 300, doing it in the winter. There's the spring. This has a 3.6 in it, not the Hemi or the bigger Hemi. So AutoZone lists two different Hemis. There it is. I already did the other side. It looks all good. That way I already had the tools out to show you. Looks nice on there. There's a space right there, but as soon as it goes down, it'll come back down and fit tight. The originals, although there was a banging sound, the top looked fine. That nut right there would not come off as expected. It just spun the shaft in there. This looks good. This looks good. Even up in the hole, up in the trunk area was fine. That bottom could have been worn out, and that metal center right there could have been banging around. And even with the banging, yeah, I'm going to push it down, and then pretty hard to push down. You want it stiff. There it is. And it came all the way back out by itself. I'm really hoping this side has something bad on it, because so far I haven't found anything bad. I will put the link in the description to the AutoZone link, at least. The ones from Rock Auto and all that, they show a really long stem on the end of that. You don't want a long stem, because when it goes through right here, that stem can't be much longer. It's going to hit your outside. And the Chrysler ones show them being really long for some reason. I'm sure it's just a glitch. Since I have it apart, I know it only takes like 10 minutes to do these. I'm going to go ahead and put a top mount on them. The mounts, it looks like these are preloaded, but you can push them in with your hand. There's like 15 different suspensions on these things, but I went ahead and bought these ones. There's more expensive ones. Do what you prefer or what you can afford. Here's what we need to do this. Don't know if you really need this extension, but I'm using it. That is a 18 millimeter 6-point. That gets the lower bolt out. You need a 15 millimeter wrench to hold on to the other side of that bolt. This takes off the nut, that holds the bolt for you. You're gonna need a swivel or something funky. I'm using all 1/2 inch. That's a 16 millimeter to do the top bolts. There's 2 top bolts. And you're gonna need this. Here we go, 7/8 6-point to take off your lugs if you're all-wheel drive. I think the 2-wheel drives are a little bit thinner. But first you want to start by getting the car in the air. I cheated, I got a lift. Take off the tire. This is gonna be a pain because I'm not doing tripod. You probably just skip this part. Showing you guys all the struggles. I'm not going to show you putting the tire back on, but when you do it, and I'm cheating because I have an impact, when you do it, put these on like this, screw them a little bit right there, and then use the impact if you're going to use an impact. A lot of these people take their cars in to get them done, and they're like, oh my gosh, one of your studs is bad. The threads are straight gone, or just pop the tire. If it don't come off, get yourself a little hammer to beat on it. The other tire didn't come off, but sometimes they'll tell you, oh, your studs are gone. No, they're not gone. You used an impact to put them back on. They cross-threaded. That's a hammer I had to use on the other side. The medicine ball one would work too. Medicine ball would work a little bit better. Sorry that you guys can hear my burner in the background. It's 13 degrees out. While you're under here, check your brakes. See, them brakes look like something's going wrong. It's been sitting for a month, so I'd say check out that once it's back up and going. Check out all your joints. You got some rubber there, rubber at the bottom of that, some rubber way in there. See that right there? See how much it wiggles. I noticed on the other side, that pipe right there, I'll have to clean that out with my finger to show you guys. Yeah, dealer can say it's a strut. Most likely they're looking at your owner's manual that tells you when something's due. Look how close that pipe is to that metal. And I can flex that thing clear over to it, at least on the other side. You guys can't really see it moving. See it moving? When you hit a bump, everything moves under here. Look how deteriorated that one is. It could be anything. There's one up in there. This is a crazy suspension, and it's all-wheel drive. So you got like endless problems that could end anywhere. So right up there's your 2 bolts. I think them were 16s. Make sure you get straight on them because them will shear right off. We're gonna do it on the video. I'm gonna pull out the bottom bolt first. Also look for what kind of stuff's missing. That lets water in there, salt in there, and then it's gonna rot out the bottom of your down here. So let's pull that bottom one out first. That takes a 18 on the nut side. There's the nut for it. Just follow the shock straight down. I'm calling it a shock, not a strut, because it does not have a spring on it. Also, a dealer may say, hey, you need alignment. That's up to you. Most vehicles that need an alignment after a strut change, they do need it. I'll show you on this car why I think it does not need it. I'm gonna put you guys down just for a second. Got my wrench on one side, holding that nut or that bolt from spinning, and then I'm gonna always put the impact on the nut side. It will pop right off if you're lucky. This car just hit 100,000 miles. I'm lucky. Okay, that came right out. Nut came right off. Show you a little nut right there. I'm gonna go get a 16 millimeter so I can just use the impact to suck that thing out. Oh, it was a 15, wasn't it? I think you could do this with jack stands. Make sure you got jack stands. Don't just jack it up. See, I got that nut off there if I point it in the right area. Nut is off. Go over to this side, put the impact on there. And I think I should just hit it with a hammer. I'm just gonna unscrew that out. Now when you're doing a strut, you're watching this video, it's just a shock. Struts are kind of scary because they have a load on them. Yep, now I gotta use the impact. Now you gotta reuse that bolt, so don't do anything funky with it. If you can get anti-seize, that's even better, because very lucky that came out and the rubber wasn't golded to that. If that happens, you might as well just put the nut back on, take it to a shop. I'm very lucky. These will come out because they're up in the housing of the trunk. They do give you new ones. I just reuse the old ones. Put some anti-seize on them. Using the swivel, just kind of tap it a few times if you can hold it on there. And I'm gonna have to put you guys down, but I think you can look at my lift. All right, tell me if the car falls off. Oh, if I can even get you guys to sit there. There you go. Got one bolt out, going to describe it to you. Now loosen the other bolt. Okay. Loosened it. Now you guys probably want to take a sneak peek. Whoops. Just shit myself if you heard that. Now that's going to loosen up. Go nice and slow. Use an impact to break stuff loose. Don't use an impact to get everything done quick. That's what the bolts look like. The new ones look all pretty. These already have some Loctite or anti-seize on them. I don't think it's Loctite because it didn't do very good. Okay, now if it's a good strut, shock, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be still under a load. It's still going to want to compress out. You have to grab the top, push down really hard. This one feels good yet again. I have to use both hands because that's how good the resistance is. You want to push it all the way down and then yank up on it to pull it out of that little hole that's down there. And we'll inspect. That looks, I'm really expecting that rubber to be gone. Maybe the rubber's gone up underneath there. Can't really see it. Nut takes too much time to get off because it spins that shaft. And it's looking like that was good too. I already tested it earlier, see if it wiggled. I'll push this down one more time. This one goes down a little bit easier, but goes right back up to where it's supposed to be. I'm actually going to keep them in case they go bad when she wants to sell the car or something. And there's the new ones. I'll pull that preload off. Preload strap. Test the length, I guess. Length. You're just gonna trust me, it's the same down there. Right up to the spot. Nipple's a bit longer. Hey, this one came with a nut. Why did the other one come with a nut? Darn people. Yeah, there's a nut I got. So if you buy these, they'll come with a nut. They're supposed to come with 2 little packs of these. Mine only came with 1. But since I bought the top mount, which is right here, it come with extra, so I'm not too worried. If you weren't replacing the mount on the top, I'd be worried. There we go. When you watch somebody that has a perfect YouTube video where they don't annoy you with their camera, you should say thank you to them, because I'm sure I'm pretty annoying. So a new one looks like, pretty nice and stiff. I'm putting a washer upright. Then I'm putting the mount on there. See how that's beveled up a little bit? That'll cup it a little bit. That's what it'll look like going down the road. It cups that. See how tight it is? Got a washer. Put a washer on there. Would be nice if I had another cupped one, but they didn't come that way. Gonna go ahead and put a lock washer on there. Lock washer has that little dent on it that you can see, a little cut. And I'm gonna put the supplied nut. Sorry guys, got thinking a little bit there. And that top is a 14 millimeter. I'm just going to tighten it down with this wrench. Put you guys down for a second. I'm only going to tighten it as tight as what my hand can do. No impact. You want to do it with an impact because it'll spin that shaft in there. That's actually connected to the plunger shaft that goes clear through. That has little seals on it to keep all that gas nice and in there and keep it. Now these go down super easy. I don't understand. That one kind of pumped up, got a little bit stiffer there. Yeah, now I can't even go down with it. That's kind of weird. That one feels like it already went bad. I don't know about that. Now it's going up higher that time. Yeah, it's super easy to push down. Don't quite understand that. You're going to want to put the bottom bolt in first. Put it up in the top. Oh, you always want to check out that, make sure it ain't rotted out. You should see, on this car at least, should see some insulation up there because it goes straight into your trunk. Now I'm going to put you guys down to put this in. You want to put in the bottom bolt first. Make sure you put the bolt in from the front to the back, because if you put the nut in the front, it could potentially fill up with dirt, road grime, and quit working, or be harder to get off. If you put backwards, less grime gets stuck in them threads. And that was, you don't want to put anti-seize on them. I use just AutoZone anti-seize, it's like $3. If you have a Menards around, it's even cheaper there. Okay, I'm going to show you guys this. Wish I could turn my flash on this, but it will not let me. Went ahead and slid that bolt through. That's pretty easy. Pushed it down a few times. It did not go up all the way. Let's see if I can get my handy flashlight in here. Just wiggle it around, and then it goes right up there. But we're going to put the bottom in fully. Your nut. And you drop your 2 bolts. I'm reusing them bolts. Just screw that on there. That was an 18 and a 15 wrench on the other side. I use an impact. You can tighten it with your hand. I'm sure there's an impact, not impact, a torque rating. That is nice and peace of mind. I just kind of tighten it down. Tighten it down until you feel safe. If it loosens up, you'll know. You're gonna die. Tighten it off camera. And with the impact, you don't want to go until it quits moving, or you will never get it off again. I know the purpose is it never comes off again, lasts the lifetime of the car, but you don't want that. You do not want that. Oh, them 2 nut bolts that fell to the ground. So I guess she had some. It's her girlfriend, my girlfriend's car. She had some banging in the rear. You know how women, they don't like it banging in the rear. So I'm fixing the banging in the rear. Now you want to pull that down a little bit, put the bolt through, thread it in with your hands a few times. I think I got it lined up. Yeah, I got it lined up. Look at that. Thread it in with your hand a couple times before you just ratchet it down. Cross threading would be a bitch. There, threaded it in quite a ways. Here's the other one. Now if you shear off the head, yeah, use new bolts. Most people will use new bolts. Me, I'm gonna keep them, and maybe I'll do a car and the bolts will shear off, and hey, I got extra ones because I did not shear these off. Just wiggled that around a little bit, got that up in there. Again, I think these are 16 millimeter. Yeah, they're on the swivel. Again, sorry for hearing my burner the whole time. You gotta keep warm, it's 13 degrees out. Make sure you got a 16 millimeter on there and just slowly go in. There we go, just tighten it a little bit. And maybe lock nuts on top, I don't know. Put that on there. And my swivel's starting to come apart. I love Craftsman. The new ones, made in China. My pins started coming out, so I'm gonna have to tap that back in. Or attempt to tap it back in, it won't go in. I'm just gonna use an extension then. I really need a, if you guys wanna buy me for Christmas a camera that goes on my hat. That'd be nice. You guys can just look around where my hat's at. Because I gotta put you down all the time. You're actually on a tripod, but you're 4 feet in the air. I ain't putting you on the ground. I'm just staring at my ass all day. There we go. Make sure you got. And there we go. You can put the tire back on. I guess I'll show you guys how I put the tire back on. Because I cheated everything. I'll show you how I cheated this. I'm going to go ahead and... What's the time? I'll look at everything. Make sure nothing's leaking. Also, when you got it up in the air, make sure nothing's leaking on the ground. Gonna get my pry bar while it's already up in the air, and you just kind of wiggle all these joints. Put it down in that crack right there. Just pry on it a little bit if you got one of these. See how much it wiggles. All these joints. It's really hard to do with a camera. If you hear a clunk, you definitely got a problem somewhere. See how much that moves? Who knows if it's supposed to move that far? That, oh, watch what I'm doing, I got on the lift. That could easily hit metal like that, especially if you're hitting a big pothole. Okay. Just in case you guys are probably wanting OEM back on there, you know it lasts 100,000 miles. It's 2021, this is late 2013. Here is the model number. High pressure gas. 52830, made in Mexico. I still think they're good, unless I tore them apart a little bit further and found something wrong. But tired of the banging, tired of guessing what it is. I am not tired of cracking jokes that she doesn't like it. Something banging in her rear. Oh, let's put the camera down just to put that up there. Brought the tire over, putting it back on. I noticed some of the stuff asks you what tires you have on your car. Again, this is a 3.6 liter all-wheel drive Chrysler 300. It's running Firestones right now. Tire size is right there, you can't see it. 2 P235 55R 19s. Huge suckers. Very nice look on a tire. Now, like I said earlier, screw these on with your hand. Most shops, if the idiot isn't trained, they just put them on there right with the impact. And since these are coarse thread, even with the impact, you need to put on there slow. But when their boss is yelling at them, hey, you have 10 minutes to do that job and you're at 20 minutes, they don't care. They just hurry up and put it on there real quick. Now I cheat and I got a extension that stops torquing at 100 foot-pound. Again, you're going to want that, what size is that? 7/8, at least for this car. It's almost the size of a truck. And then you'll notice it'll stop spinning. A normal torque would probably go, at least with this, by 150. This stops it at 100. Go nice and slow. It'll also align the tire a little bit and pull it right up against the rotor. Always go back to where you started, and then when you put it back on, wiggle it again, see if it does anything. Again, I had extra parts, that's always a good thing. There was the strut mounts I'll put in the review. If you don't see another video of me changing them again, I guess they work. Put in the description down below the link to these. Yeah, that's all from AutoZone. 40 bucks for them, and who knows, I'll send you a link. Thanks for watching.